AJ, El Presidente, Eddie Kane University. Hill gon' heal, regardless. You, Buchanan, Bethel High School, by way of Three Man Weave, LLC.
Michelle, producer, Faith over here.
You can catch this wave from the Marlins to the Mariners.
What's going on, good people? We are back again with another episode of the Three Man Weave podcast. I am your co-host, AJ, and not many of you are like us. Who I got with me today?
Oh man, not a hoe, not a OV hoe. It's your boy Hill. He'll go here regardless, baby, and let's get it. Y'all know y'all catch us all major podcast platforms, 3Man Weave, Instagram, Twitter, 3Man Weave _. You can email us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. Let's go ahead and get right into it, man. Is it over?
I think that was a really good way, a competitive waving of the white flag. You know what I'm saying? I think it's over. I think it's like, I think it's time. I think we got what we wanted. I think well, let me say this. I think it may be over, but I don't think we got the last of Kendrick because I feel like as things going, he wants to get the last word.
I think he accomplished his goal. I think if the waving of the white flag, if we're going to continue with the not conceding, but the waving of the ending of this, I guess, is nothing left for him to say at this point. He proved his point. I mean, we know it's very few that can actually rap with him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When it comes to that. And as far as we want to give it an objective view, Drake did everything that you asked for.
Of course.
And he stayed true to himself, you know, with what he's done in the past with his various other beefs. You know, he still gave you memes, you know, tea leaves and, you know, all that stuff. But like I said, he definitely he was rapping.
Of course. And again, this is the one thing that I've requested. This is where it's like, okay, show. I felt the things that you have been doing have been lackluster. Hey, we here, baby. That's all we need.
Shout out to the Fab Five.
Look, he did the things that I've been requesting, and it took, like I said, apparently it took some of this to actually, you know, make him be like, okay, I still got it. Because again, like I've been saying, it's almost like he's just been doing things just because, like, I know everything that I'm going to do is going to, you know, be at the top. Like, if it just sounds good, it sounds good. Like, even, you know, when I said on the first person shooter, you know, we said Drake did kind of like, you know, you mentioned Drake did kind of what he was supposed to do on that. But I was like, damn, I kind of wish he would have rapped more. You get what I'm saying? Like, it kind of taken that time. And so it was like, okay, he didn't do it then, but he had to come outside, you know, like very shortly after. And that's what I wanted. And he did that.
I kind of it got to the point once again, like, I know for you, you know, all you wanted to hear was the rap. Like, you wanted people to rap. You know what I'm saying? That was cool. And I was like, cool, me and you, you know, not objective, that's not the word I'm trying to look for, but I'm gonna stay with it at this point. We can understand that. But I told you when this started that these fan bases was going to ruin this.
Oh, of course.
And this
But again, I knew that, like, just me and probably the people that I'm willing to actually sit down and have music conversations with, we'd be able to laugh at that stuff. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we'd still be able to talk about the music that came from it. So I'm not worried about all the other stuff, like the memes and all this stuff. That was funny, and I was able to, you know, to look at it objectively in a sense. You get what I'm saying?
The memes were funny. The memes.
Oh yeah,
we got some gold out of these.
We got some gold, man. I'm talking, like, I understand the people, you know, the stands, and to me, like, that's where it went. That's where it was going to go awry, regardless. But the stands. But that's one of the things that I said about him responding to Kendrick is kind of like a win-win for him because he can't lose. And again, his stance still like again, it's still he like Drake won. Drake did this. Oh, he fed him the lies and all of that stuff. Drake won. And so again, this is what I was saying. He really couldn't lose because he's not going to lose his core fan base, even if he never told him where he got his abs from.
Bro, it's funny that the fact that even still, it's still a theory out there of him not, because this wasn't a one-on-one battle. Like you're going, you was going against Ross, you was going against ASAP Rocky jumped in, you was going against Future, Metro, and Kendrick. Like,
but again, my bad. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
It was the fact that you didn't fold,
right?
Like,
of course,
you didn't fold. So it somebody could look that you got jumped and you held your own. Like you can look at it and you can, and like I said, from an outside point of view, objective point of view, you can be like, hey, look, bro, that's commendable, bro. Like,
right.
You know,
and one of the things that I said was, hey, like on push-ups, like all
hey,
of that.
Hey, what? I've been in the gym, dog. Relax,
hey, hey, but one of the things that I was saying, like to start it off, push-ups should like I understand he had all of those people to address and stuff like that, and you know, so push-ups he kind of addressed a lot of people, but I know one thing that my dad always told me: hey, when you get jumped, hit the biggest nigga and try and do the most damage. To me, it should have been Kendrick from the go because that's who you should have been out there. Hey,
I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I'm getting cooked. Yes, and shouts out to my bro D White. You know, he hit me up and he kind of said something similar to what I said about the approach that Drake should have took. He said, I'm gonna give him his credit for the saying that he said that Drake should have had a song for each individual. He should have had a song for Ross. He should have had a song for Future Metro. Should have had a song for ASAP Rocky and had them separate, and then direct his attention to Kendrick separately.
Here's my thing: you don't make none of those shits until you address Kendrick, because to me, that's where your focus needs to be. Like we see all this, like the theories and kind of like calculations and deep dives and all that shit that you know that people are doing with these Kendrick lyrics. That ain't just someone that you just give some passive attention to and you kind of spread yourself thin. Like, and that's one of the things where it's like Kendrick, even if you feel like, oh, he, you know, the Family Matters and Meet the Graham stuff, how you feel about that? Regardless, Kendrick beat Drake. Like, regardless of what you think about the songs, Kendrick did beat Drake at his. This is the one because he was talking about number ones and all of that stuff, and his hits. Don't nobody want to hear that. Blah blah blah. But look at this, Kendrick. Like, Kendrick has like these are like basically the diss songs towards Drake. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then I think it's what it's either Euphoria or Not Like Us has been like streamed more than like one of Drake's songs and stuff like that. So it's basically like now you're like he's breaking your records while talking about you. You get what I'm saying? So like you try to bring the numbers game into it, and we always knew like it was never like it's like Kendrick was about the art, but now he's not only beating you at your own game, and you know people say he makes boring music, but now he dropped basically a West Coast anthem on you. You know what I'm saying? He's got a number one on you, and then like that is still on the top 10 chart. So it's like he's beating you at your own games, and the rapping is, you know, very comparable.
But I mean, if Drake was the, you know, to say something, he can say you're only number one again. It's because of me. Like these songs are only going number one because these are disses towards me. Like he can flip that if he wanted to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Of course, maybe we're not going to whoever side you on. Maybe
I mean,
you'll accept it or not.
I get that.
But
again,
it's more so. It's kind of like when Braun went to Miami, right? And you know, he made the super team and all that, right? And then we just started seeing the Kevin Durant go to State. We started seeing other super teams build. It was like, man, Braun can't beat everybody, right? This is essentially what Kendrick did to Drake, bro. He pulled a you on you. And like I said, he kept hitting them with, okay, you dropped the song, boom, I got a song. Boom, I got a song. I got another song.
Because
It's like,
it started off him stay scheming them basically. So it's just almost like he was like kind of doing those things.
and that's why I didn't like the waving of the white flag, because it seemed like he didn't really have to. Like they could have. It's more so like the apology. It was like J. Cole's apology. It's like, cool, you could have just left, bro.
Yeah.
Could have just disappeared.
My thing about it is like a lot of stuff that Drake said, "Oh, yeah, you're gonna need this," kind of, doing those things. Again, he was trying to bait Kendrick,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to say it backfired, but it was almost like
backfired.
You got what you asked for,
yeah.
And it's like, oh, I don't know if that was the best idea, dog. And it was tough because again, this is really the first time that we have seen Kendrick in this back and forth. So it's like, oh, you kind of got that. And well,
don't answer yet. Don't answer yet.
Oh,
Don't answer
dang.
yet. I know. I want to. You got what you asked for, because if you're in Drake's camp and you be like, yeah, I'm baiting, I'm wanting to come outside, because he don't come outside a lot. Like he not about to have a whole EP full of diss tracks ready. Like the clip not gonna be full for me. Like if you're in the camp, you can see this logic, because he don't come outside a lot. But you also have to know he's capable of doing this.
Yeah.
So it's like it was a weird strategy. It was a weird strategy. That's all I'm gonna say. Because Family Matters was supposed to last through the weekend. At least the night.
Yeah.
I can say Family Matters was supposed to at least last the night. Like Saturday morning, we were supposed to get up talking about Family Matters. Bro, by the time I finished listening to Family Matters, Meet the Grams dropped. Like, it didn't even have to be quality at that point. It was just the fact that I'm already ready, bro.
I'm ready. And I understand the whole we fed on fake information, but to me, it's like that if you were feeding him fake information, that kind of backfired again too to me, because it's like, why weren't you ready for the Meet the Grams response, in my opinion? Like if you were doing that, because it's like you knew what was coming. Like you kind of, I don't know if maybe I don't know if because I don't know if you're supposed to try and step back on that. I don't know.
Because think about it. Let's think about it from his point of view. If I fed you the fake, let's just go through if you believe that he fed him fake information, Meet the Gram loses value. So now you can go back to Family Matters and let Family Matters be what it's supposed to be. So you're like, yeah, cool, I'm cool with that. But then let's say Kendrick's side. Kendrick's like, you know what? He got me, dog. Fake information. I took the bait. Don't worry about it. Not like us. Not like us.
Nigga, he is 69 God.
So even if you thought he won, let's give him that point. We'll give you the point. You gave him, let him get a layup for 2 for 1. That's all. It was a 2 for 1. I'm gonna shoot before the buzzer. That's all.
Yeah.
Now go back up. I want you to answer that.
I believe so, because this was a cultural moment. You got like two of the top dogs in a back and forth, giving you quality music in a different, in this era. We have not seen this in quite some time, where two guys on the same plane, two guys to be considered in the same conversation, really go back and forth like this. And to me, this is one of the most music filled back and forths that we have gotten. You know what I'm saying? Like this is one of the usually it's like, okay, you get a diss track, you get a response, you may get a response to that response, and then you may get a response to that response. We actually got to see strategy. We got to see dudes play chess, and we got to see even with this whole like response clock thing, we got to see dudes even like do like try and like live up to that and show like, okay, how quick can we do that? And not only was it just like you go up to a radio station or you go up to, or you just drop it somewhere. Like we got like quality music. Like I'm still playing Euphoria. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've got quality songs to listen to as well. And I think these are going to be like, I think as the time goes on, these also will be like pivotal songs within their catalog, like going forward.
I'm not sure if the DVD still continues, but this is a very good opportunity to resurrect that series.
Like, because think about the deep dives that you'll be able to go through, like for like the interviews, the deep dives, the replay. Like these songs have like a lot of these songs have replay value. You get what I'm saying?
Bro, all the songs that they put out have replay value. Like they delivered songs.
And that's why I'm saying, is this good for the culture? Absolutely. Because again, a lot of guys that like a lot of people have been saying, man, like, bro, I've been listening, like, me, I ain't no shame. I will listen to R&B. Like if like R&B, like it's only been like a couple rap artists that have been able to get me to listen to their music and actually have something that has replay value where I listen to it and like, damn, let me listen to that again. Let me listen to that again. Let me listen to that again. You get what I'm saying? And so now seeing some like where the top guys are like, oh, it's time to go. It's time to really put thought, effort, and put my best foot forward and not just do something where it's like, okay, it's only going to last in this week cycle. And then somebody else is going to come step over my music and stuff like that. No, like I have to give you my best. And that's why I think that this was good for the culture, because sometimes when you see the top guys doing something, it's a trickle down effect.
And I get it. I'm not going to disagree and say it wasn't.
I said sometimes.
No, I'm not going to say it's bad for the culture. I'm not going to go as far as that. I'm going to say that this is a monumental moment for the culture. I do get that. But I don't think that this is going to set a trend, because when it comes to, like you already stated, like when it comes to these new rappers, we ain't got them. They ain't rapping. Like we got the drill rappers and all that stuff and all that. Like I said, but we ain't get. It's like I think Bomani was talking about, like, bro, why are they still the big three? At this point, they should be legacy acts at this point, as long as they've been out, bro.
Well, I don't quite necessarily say that they should be legacy acts, because yes, they
15-year run,
15-year run, but they're also not like up there when we was like, hey, who is going to like overtake Jay-Z type thing? You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, like yes, they've been on a 15-year run, but I don't think age-wise that they're that old. I do think like for legacy acts, I do believe like they're still the big three, because as far as them rapping, they're still the best out right now. And so I think what the only thing is where people can kind of say like anything like that is like, I don't know how to say this. They still kind of give you a little bit of everything. And the difference is J. Cole, when he was rapping, and it seemed like he was being competitive, he was out there rapping with the young kids, still rapping like one of the top three and not moving to kind of like their lane. You get what I'm saying? And then you had Drake. He would be around, the kind of the newer rappers, and he would do the things to kind of just, make sure that he was able to get them a hit or make things a hit. Mm-hmm. But Kendrick was still kind of doing I'm going to disappear for about 4 years, give you an album, disappear, come back. And so I think that's why that they're not legacy acts per se, because like to me, only Drake really is the one that has like high volume and like albums for one of the people that you would consider a top 3 artist, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's like when we was growing up, like people like you said, it was an expiration date pretty much as far as age wise. Like once we started to get older, the age thing really started. It didn't matter because Jay-Z was still rapping at a high clip. So the fact that Jay-Z was still rapping at a high clip, it let Ross still get old and we didn't care. You know, it still let Jeezy and stuff people get old. Like these people
And that's what I'm saying.
40s.
So it's like, and that's what I'm saying. And you would like, to me,
That's a transition though.
right? It's a transition, but I still wouldn't think Ross is a legacy act, and he been out longer than all three of them.
Yeah, but like you say, let's back up because like when we were younger and by the time we got to high school, it was over for a Ghostface and like Raekwon. I'm just using them as an example. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't put out music. I know music is consumed way differently now. So,
That's why.
But hold on,
That's
listen
but,
I know, but
okay.
I know I do understand that point. But just listen to me though.
Of course, my fault.
It's just the fact that by the time that we got older, like by the time we got old enough to really understand what really they were saying, they had already weeded out and started being legacy type acts. As far as like you say, like the Locks, they legacy type acts at this point. But of course they should be legacy type acts. What? It's 20 years since we about to see the 20-year anniversary of right?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
But that is also kind of my point. I think you become a legacy act where the generation that you came in with and the generation kind of like under them kind of are like age out. I don't think Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick have aged out of that lower like generation because they kind of came in when we were like in, like our early teens, college years. You get what I'm saying? And so even like if you kind of think at the height of at their kind of peak, they're like they had another generation underneath us. And so that's why the comments is kind of crazy.
They go blood. Go ahead.
And so that generation below us is still 20 somethings that are listening to Kendrick, J. Cole, and Drake. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't believe that they're legacy acts. When you talk about they had a 15-year run, you just talk about the 20-year anniversary of the Locks because that kind of was the generation right above us, and we kind of like we're still like we were kind of younger when we were listening to the Locks. So nobody really after us was listening to the Locks. So now that we are in our 30s, we're kind of like that last group, kind of like that cutoff for the Locks. It's the same thing with Jay-Z. Think about when Jay-Z came out. We were young. So as we got older, Jay-Z got older and he aged up like he aged before us. That's why, like I said, you got to give Ross his credit because even though like Ross is older, he's still able to kind of be in this generation because when he came out based on age and he can still make relevant music and he can go across those generations because of his sound. So that's why I think they're not legacy acts yet because the people that still like if we talk about the stands are really the 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
And so that's why they're not that's why they're not that's why they're not legacy acts yet because they're still able to like, bro, like people were saying like, oh, Kendrick can't make nothing for the club. Bro, I didn't care about that. You know why? Because I don't go to the club. You get what I'm saying? So that's why it's like that, like they're not legacy acts yet because of the audience. The audience still doesn't see them as old.
I think semantics wise, I think legacy was the wrong choice of word, but we got to the point where we was trying to get to. So I'm not even going, deep dive any further than what we got. I just think that once again, I'm gonna state it before we move on that the fan base has definitely ruined this, and like I said, I don't know if we're going to get this again. From a different like, of course, we're not gonna get this again from the level of fan bases, unless J. Cole gets mad, and wants to say something to somebody else.
Who do you think J. Cole can go at to kind of like regain his sting?
I mean, nobody. The thing about I think that he can't go at nobody like actively, but like he gets subliminally respond to
To
something
everyone.
aggressively and let it be. Like he can have his version of a control verse and be like, "Hey, bro, hold on, bro. Don't let this apology fool you." You know,
Yeah, I feel
ain't
you.
the hardest man in the land, but it's still the grown ass man to walk up on you like, "What's the problem?" Like, come on there. Like he can still remind you. I don't think people really want to play with him. Like they don't really want to play with him lyrically. Like they just was
Of course,
disappointed in
but
they were just disappointed in the apology because, like you said, the apology you didn't have to apologize, bro. You know.
yeah, and
But I think
the apology. I think the apology, even the apology, kind of hurt him because man, I got my chin out, dog. You know, take your bet. I didn't like that. He could just be like, hey man, look, these niggas got some shit coming. Me and like, hey, me and K Dot cool, me and Drake cool. Y'all be ready. That's all he had to say, God damn it.
and the funny thing about it, I think he did it. I think he did Drake a disservice.
Yeah,
And in the grand scheme of things, I think he did Drake a disservice because
he
he let
allowed he allowed Kendrick to really be a first person shooter.
he allowed him to just be direct and have one opponent. You know what I'm saying? So that's you gotta talk to your man when it comes to that. All right,
Okay,
man.
last one, last one.
Yeah.
Do you think Game is doing enough to get Ross outside?
Ross is going to respond because Ross is that petty.
Yeah,
So if Game does something that if Game puts out a record, let's say that he's going to respond. Ross didn't respond to the mean stuff that he did yet. I don't think that was worthy enough. That was,
yeah,
I can ignore that. I'm surprised Ross ignored it, but
yeah.
that's something that I can ignore that. But if he jumps out the window and does a record, we know Ross is cut from that cloth. He's gonna respond, and then it's gonna be up, and they're gonna waste everybody's time.
Yeah, that's not a good encore.
Yeah, we don't want that at all, like
Yeah.
at all. And Game can rap. Like stop doing the game.
He is corny.
Yes, we know this.
Just because you a street dude, don't mean you can't be corny. Like
Yeah, top tier. All right, man.
a Cincinnati rapper is the one that made Game cover that butterfly tattoo, but I ain't gonna say nothing. We'll talk about it offline.
Oh, right. We had some teams lose other than our teams. Our teams was the first one.
Thank goodness.
They had some people join us in Cancun, didn't they?
Woo!
And we alluded to it. We say, hey, look, just don't worry about it. Give us some time, baby.
Give us a week, baby.
And I want to first start off with let's get this out of the way.
Yeah, please.
You laughed at this, and I want to know why did you laugh? And I said this Saturday, and I didn't really want to wait till we pod. I wanted to get this out the way, but I'm ready to expound on this. But I want to know why did you laugh in the comments? Because I said Westbrook and James Harden should consider retiring.
Because one time I remember saying something and you called me a Westbrook hater. So
yes,
I do remember that. And again, It was like because it's just like, hey, dog, like not that you aren't good, but it's just almost like, hey, you almost like causing more trouble getting like for people to trying to get you to fit in, and it's hurting you. It's hurting how people remember you in a sense. And it's like I'm not necessarily saying you got to lead teams to a conference finals anymore, or you got to average a triple double anymore, or anything like that. But dog, like, where was it? Was it LA? Like, was it LA shooting stuff off the backboard and like it just looked like he forgot how to play basketball? I was like we talked about. I was thinking, hey, dog, you might either just need to go to a bad team and just try and be that veteran presence there, or hang it up. And that was like I said, that was a couple years ago. And so that's why I laughed, because I'm like, oh, listen to me now.
Believe me
later on. And Harden, I'm just like, hey, man, yeah, go. Because like you don't want to, like, it seems like you don't want to change your game to allow for the betterment of the team. We saw that with the 76ers. Joel had to kind of let him take over. It's just like, now, hey, dog, you trying to take over. Now your hamstring don't even work because you couldn't hold up.
This is sad because we didn't talk about this before we started recording, and you literally just stole my whole thunder. Yeah.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
no. I'm not upset at all because it's funny that we are aligning on this. Like we are aligning on this. Like I said, certain people disagreed when it comes to the comments when it came. But like I said, when it comes to James Harden, all right, bet you're not winning the championship. Cool, we see that. We had a lot. Houston. Your Houston time was your Houston time. Cool. You had your opportunity, but you went to Brooklyn, super team in Brooklyn, messed that up. You went to Philly. Philly was the best spot for you. Hey, some things happened. You lost. Hey, you never should have left Philly. I think that I said it last year when they lost. I felt that they should have ran it back at least this year, one more time and see what they had going on in Philly. Nah, you got into it with Daryl Morey. You had to get up out of Philly. Cool. They send you to LA. They give you another alley. They send you to LA with Kawhi, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, everybody. Big four. And you had a healthy Kawhi for the entire regular season. Until Kawhi pulled a Kawhi, and he wasn't there for you in the playoffs. But damn, you still had everybody else.
And this is why I said I would have sent his ass where I got the best offer.
Exactly. Like, you're not going to keep doing him any favors. But for him personally, he's not about to adjust his game or make the necessary sacrifices. We've seen this now. We've seen this on how many occasions that he's not going to take a step back, do what's necessary to do what is needed to for a championship team. So why are you still balling, bro? First off, you didn't have a trade market this offseason anyway. Like, they did you a favor because it did benefit the Sixers by getting all those other role players for them. Like you say, Embiid just got hurt. But we will get to them. But the thing about it is, now what you going to do next offseason? You got to stay with the Clippers. You got to stay with the Clippers because I believe Paul George is up out of there. He needs to go.
Yeah.
Before we get on Paul George, he's going to be later on too. But the thing is, it's like, okay, you're going to stay with the Clippers and still do what you do. Just to keep hooping, you're never going to win the championship. Westbrook, you're just continuously ruining your legacy. All you're doing is, like you say, you still arguing with fans every game. It seems like every game you're getting into it with a fan or something, and at some point, nobody can continue to defend you because at some point, somebody's got to be you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, fans is wild, and I get it. They say some things they doing too much now. But at this point, bro, it's like, damn, bro, like, it's something, everything, like, just go, just continue, just leave on a good note is really what I'm getting to.
Yeah, and here's my thing. I don't understand what value or where is a place that you feel like Harden can actually contribute anything, because it's almost just like are you even like a leader for a young team to kind of groom? Like, are you kind of like that transition player where it's just like you can be that veteran presence in a young locker room? You know what I'm saying? Like, where is actually going to be a place for you to actually, play a pivotal role? Because the money that you're going to command versus what you're going to bring to this team, is it worth it? Again, that's why I would have sent his ass to Utah. Like I've been saying, like contracts like teams ago. Like, nah, dog. Yeah. Like, whoever got the best offer, that's where you going, because guess what? I'm not trying to do you no favors. What I got to do you a favor for?
And like you say, that's the thing. Like you said, you're not gonna change your game. So if you're not ready to change your game like you said, you can't even go nowhere and play off ball. You ain't working on your off ball game yet. Like, yet at all? Like, you can't do nothing. Nah, you always just got to have the ball and nah. It's like I said, it's no other place where you can go. I'm pretty sure that you're going to stay with the Clippers because Paul George is up out of there, and it's time for Paul George to get up out of there because Paul George made the sacrifice, and it hasn't worked out for him because he's starting to lose himself.
Exactly, and I think that's where he would be. You can still put Paul George on a team and Paul George can be the guy. And if you put pieces around him, it would be a very, very, very competitive team. I'm not saying that they would be a championship contender, but I think they would be competitive. You can put him somewhere, and his game will allow him to be one of the other options. So again, I think Paul George is better served to go ahead and get up out there. I understand that that's close to home or whatever the case may be, but it ain't working, dog.
You know what I think the perfect spot for him at this point of his career, at this point, would be go to State.
Yeah.
I think if Clay is up out of there and they making a little transition, I think he can go in there and be the number two to a Steph. I think their games complement each other well. I think his defense return to form. I think he can really get back to himself in that system.
Of course.
I just don't think, like, I get it, and we're about to talk too about the Sixers. I get it. It's a lot of him talking about him going to the Sixers, right? Cool. Him going to the Sixers is kind of like his situation with the Clippers. It's another big three, and I'm definitely saying a big three because Maxey is ascending to. He was an All-Star this year, so he's you consider him you consider him a big three. I'm not saying the superstar, but he's ascending in the right direction.
Right.
We know who Embiid is, so like, okay, what are we doing here? Are y'all gonna once again, is everybody gonna coexist and make the necessary sacrifices to get to a championship level? I believe that they could work because Embiid is not a selfish dude. Maxey is not a selfish dude. But at the same time, with this spot, allow PG to flourish like he should want to do. It's kind of the same thing in like the Clippers situation, even though the skill sets fit way better in Philly.
Yeah, I think the skill sets fit in Philly. I think New York should be a player in trying to get him too, to pair him with Jalen Brunson, because I think that, again, that's a place where those skill sets would fit. I think it's a market that he would enjoy because, I think PG is kind of in that mold, but I think he'd be able to play there. And I think having him next to Jalen Brunson, to me, that elevates his game, but it also helps elevate Jalen Brunson, because I think they will be able to play off of each other. And then I'm not sure how Tibbs would run him in a rotation if how many seasons he could last. But
you know what Tibbs gonna do,
right? But I do think that would be a good thing, especially with his size. He'd be able to. With his size, he'd be able to, be a nice piece next to Jalen Brunson also. But
so we shouts out Miss King. Let's go transition to the Bucks. We here. Speaking of the Bucks, speaking of the moving pieces, the Bucks got to get Doc up out of there. I know they're paying all them coaches, but this wasn't it. And I don't know who should play. This is the thing. Now, we all know how the whole group lit Doc ass up the moment that he got there. And we let let everybody know that Doc ain't it. This wasn't Doc's fault.
Yeah, it wasn't.
If we sit back and we looked at it organically, he was put in a precarious position. Like, they should have never fired their coach. They bring you in, you trying to implement some things on the fly, really not going your way. And then on top of that, both of your stars get injured in the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, of course we really want to, we know you trash, Doc. Like, we know what you are. We know it was gonna fail eventually anyway. But it's like, this year we could give you
some grace. And my thing about it is, isn't this who the Milwaukee Bucks star player wanted?
It has to be, because all the decisions because it's from him. And let's talk about it. It's time to put his ass on the jury.
And that's what I'm about to say, because it's like, we talk about that team with Adrian Griffin. I don't see what he was doing that warranted being fired, within his first season. Am I missing something?
Bro, they was the number 2 seed
And so
in the East.
to me, you were the number 2 seed, and then you want like something may occurred, and like maybe you wanted him gone. If you hand pick Doc because you are that star,
Mm-hmm.
the same way. Oh, the GM,
Yep.
he, Giannis, you gotta take like you have to wear this. This is on your jacket because like, and I understand y'all like you and Dame got hurt in the playoffs, but y'all didn't look good going into the playoffs anyway.
You skip steps though, bro. He was the reason Bud got fired. No. Then on top of that, they wouldn't have never hired Adrian Griffin unless you sign off on it.
Yeah.
So these are two decisions of your caliber. We know you're a superstar. We don't get out the top 5 without mentioning you. So we know that you're involved with these decisions. And then you okay them hiring Doc. These are 3 situations on your jacket, all in the same offseason. Bro, since they won the championship in 2021, you had a second round exit. You had in 2022. In 2023, you had a first round exit. Hey, you got injured. Cool. Hey, you got injured again back to back, and they had another first round exit. Hey, listen, bro, you a superstar. They crowned you. They named you one of the ones. Once again, we don't get out the top 5 without mentioning Giannis. Hey, we got to holler at you, bro. It's some criticism, dog.
Because here's my thing. Once they put you in that tier, it ain't just, oh, you have a championship. Yeah, that championship can buy you some leeway, but 9 times out of 10, once you win a championship, they ain't trying to see no first round exit, second round exit, first round exit. Oh, it's when is the next one?
It buys you leeway because, hey, bro, how many people really go at Kawhi?
Nobody.
All right. So we can see where they pick and choose. Hey, they like Kevin Durant and stuff. Anytime he do something, anytime he don't brush his hair, oh my God, they let Kevin Durant to know all his decisions, all his imperfections. But Giannis, huh? We on mute. No, sir. It's time for that criticism, dog. And he need to wear that all off season.
It's because he's funny.
Cool. Tell your jokes.
Tell your jokes. Tell your jokes in this press conference. But hey, we got to talk to you, man.
But
what's going on?
Bro, it's the same way that, hey, they sitting there, like I said, I get it. Once you win a championship, you get some leeway. But listen, they ready, like, bro, we about to get to the Sixers, right?
Yes.
Because we ain't got really nobody else to talk about before them.
No, not really. I don't care. I mean,
because we knew what the Heat was, and Pat Riley let everybody notice too. Yeah. Mob chimed in. Everybody got some smoke in that press conference. Won't just Jimmy.
Hey, yeah. And I won't be surprised if Pat is very aggressive this offseason.
Yeah. I mean, he put everybody on note. It's nothing to talk about really with the Heat. We understood what was going on with the Heat. Once Jimmy got hurt, it was like, all right, we know how this going in. We know how this going in. But the way Pat was in that, hey, we seen Pat in press conference before like that. I mean, exit interviews like that before.
Yeah.
And things went a little different. So, yeah, when the mob talk, somebody listen. You know what I'm saying? So
meet the Rileys.
Sixers, man. And since we've started pod, we've always had an interesting relationship with the Sixers. You know what I'm saying? This is the first year, I say, for me, that it was like, yo, some of this is getting a little out of hand. And I get it. All the other prior years, you can't ignore. Like, you don't. Sometimes me personally, I like to look at things separately. And I know when you look at certain things separately, but it still was the same effect them other years, it's hard for people to try to grasp that idea or to try to grasp that concept. Like, for example, Joel Embiid was injured this year. You can say, hey, he's always injured in the playoffs. So what are you saying now? What are you about to say now? But I just feel I feel this was a little different.
Absolutely. But again, it's kind of the same thing. Like, The problem with Joel Embiid is he don't have that leeway. Would
Yep.
we look at would we look at Joel Embiid a little bit different if he had a ring?
Of
Because
course.
guess what? If Joel had a ring already, they would be talking about this playoff performance while being injured way different. This would
Mm-hmm.
be one of the more heroic things we've ever seen. Dog couldn't blink with one side of his face. Had a came off knee surgery, re-injured it, had to play crazy minutes and was doing like 30 and 10.
And I like the.
And,
I'm sorry.
and my thing about it was when Joel got hurt, we were talking about like, hey, should they make a move? Because not only like Joel's always hurt, so you might need to get not like a secondary option, but a third option that you can rely on in the event that something happens. And again, that was supposed to be James Harden,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't work. And so it's just like you need someone else to kind of, be able to kind of take things over, as a secondary option or a first option in the event Joel goes down. Because again, I'm sorry, like he's a 7-footer who's all like, let's not forget, he missed his rookie season because of his back. It's like this not just something where it's just like, oh, it came out of nowhere and he can't stay healthy. He was never healthy. And so to me, knowing that, you have to prepare for that. You always have to prepare for that. And they don't have, and to me, I don't think that the 76ers have a contingency plan in place. And I'm not saying there was like what they had wasn't a good idea because I understand what happened with James Harden. They kind of tried that. But if you want to be a championship contender, I don't think you can like, I'm not saying don't build around Joel, but what you need to do is not only build around him so you can be successful with him, but you need to find a way that you can be successful in spite of him as well in the event he's not there. And that's it's a very tough thing to do, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but it's not impossible. It's not impossible.
It's not. I think the percentages is definitely very, very low on accomplishing that though, bro.
Yeah. Do you think Pete? Do you think if they were to get PG, that would help?
Yes, that would absolutely help. But at the same time, like I alluded to earlier, would the dynamic still be the same as it was with the Clippers? You know what I'm saying? Can PG be PG with the Sixers? I personally I believe that they could because I think they all can understand, can make the sacrifices. We've seen Embiid take a step back before.
Yeah.
We've
It's a
seen
fun
PG take a step back before. Hey, Maxey didn't blossom until Harden got up out of there. You know, I mean,
exactly.
to this extent. So of course I believe that they could coexist, but it could be different. It could be rocky.
It's a funny thing, I one of the very few people that I listen to is Bomani Jones, and Bomani has always said PG is always like PG is best served as a number one option or a number three option, and it get real shaky when he got to be that number two.
It's the
It's
weirdest
a,
concept, but it makes sense.
but like when you actually start looking at it, it makes sense. Like in the playoffs, Kawhi went down, PG like, oh, I got us. But when Kawhi there, Harden there, and PG there, and PG a little bit better than like if Harden not there and it's PG, Kawhi, and Russ, it's like, oof, what you doing, dog? But he seems to fall into that role. And I think with the rise of Maxey, I think he could fall into that role. And then in the event that Joel was to go down for the long term, he could rise up and be the number one for Maxey. If that makes sense.
I think that's the for if championships is his goal, you know, getting money. They do have a max slot available for Paul George. I believe if they were,
You just let him replace Tobias Harris, boy, and
and things will be
things will
definitely
look
different.
different. Yeah.
We got a shouts out to our guy Ross. You know what I'm saying? He gave us a kind of blueprint of what they need to do. in the offseason. First step, you want to bring back Kelly Oubre, Buddy Hield, Max Melton. That's not Max Melton. That's
Max Melton is the corner
is the
for
cornerback from. I'm still in draft. I was like, hold on, Max Melton. It's not him. But anyway, bring them back. That's a formidable right there. That's pieces around you. He wanted to bring back Kyle Lowry and Nick Batum. It's depth, veteran leadership, and depth. Want to get a real backup center. Andre Drummond. Spend some money, like you said. He got Paul George on here. Klay Thompson is on here. Pascal Siakam is on here. DeMar DeRozan is on here. These are the players that he. DeAnthony Melton is the name that I'm missing. Bench depth, and we got LeBron last. So let's pinpoint some of these things that he got. Of course, Oubre, Buddy Hield, DeAnthony Melton is cool. Vet, Lowry, Batum, cool. Backup center, and
That's pivotal to me. That's pivotal to me.
Absolutely.
When we get to we fix your team and it's the Suns, that's number one for me.
But what's up with this Klay? What's up with Klay?
You
done with Klay?
We done with the 90s.
we done
with Klay. Like, you feel me? Like, hey, dog, I understand, but to me, I just don't know if you guys would be able to bring Klay in and what you would be able to use him for and how he would fit. You know what I mean? And I don't know what he has left. I just don't know. So to me, I don't know. I don't know what Klay would be able to bring in this iteration of his, in this time of, in this position of his career, to be able to contribute, to a championship team right now.
That's why I'm not even I'm not understanding the connection with him in Orlando. They're a young team. They took the Cavs to 7 games in the first round. Like I say, Pablo is definitely emerging. There's another one of them one. Oh, Paolo, my fault. Oh, yeah, that's terrible. I think that they should just stay the course at least another year.
My thing, not even necessarily I won't say just stay okay, never mind. I probably twisting your rollers. Not run it back, but stay the course and try and bring in pieces that you just feel naturally fit. Don't chase Klay because he's a name. I think you can find better pieces that may fit without just going for Klay, because again, we don't know what Klay is necessarily going to bring, and it could fuck up your dynamic.
That's the thing. I think that he would definitely be a negative more so as a positive. I think Klay is definitely, in the twilight of his career because his leg is
yeah,
his legs is done. And which I said when he had them injuries, I'm like, yo, he's his legs is definitely very pivotal with how he operates, and he never really got it back. LeBron was last. If of course, I think he's going to opt out of his contract in LA, but I'm not sure if he's going to leave LA.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even think that's a I think. How many times has Bron not opted out?
Yeah, he's gonna opt out. That's the thing is he's gonna opt out, put pressure on the front office, he do what he do.
Right. So yeah, he's gonna opt out, but I don't think it's I don't think it's a given that he leaves.
This is not far-fetched as I think some people was. I think this will be an attract because he loved to go to attractive spots.
Mm-hmm.
He playing with Embiid. He already dealt with Anthony Davis injury, so playing with somebody that has an injury history is nothing new to him. Maxey is the emerging star.
And then you have Maxey there, and I think, my bad, I keep cutting you off. My fault.
But we on the same page because, like you said, if you just keep looking for this third piece in LA, and it's so hard to get this third piece in LA when I can just step foot.
You drop him right in there. You got a legit point guard. You got someone that can give you 20 points, and he can still you got 2 scoring options ahead of him, and it can really while Joel Embiid is healthy, it can do the things that the Lakers said that they were going to do the entire time LeBron was there and reduce his minutes and his workload.
Absolutely.
And then you got Maxi there to play defense. Say you bring back Oubre, you got another high energy defender, stuff like that. It's just like
You'll be able to get the depth, the bench depth that you're coveting because, like I said, the free agents will definitely flock to Philly because they would think this is the championship team, and this would definitely make them considerable contenders. So
absolutely
this isn't a far fetched idea. I definitely the first choice should be Paul George.
right.
You know what I'm saying? It should be Paul George, but I'm definitely calling LeBron and like, hey, I'm making my case if I could, if I'm the Sixers. If he decides to leave LA, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the definitely thing. But I based off this list, I know you mentioned Nick Claxton, Valanciunas is definitely available. Valanciunas would definitely be a very good piece if he came to be a backup. I think Nick Claxton, I know he's been starting the entire time for Brooklyn, so I think that he would go some if he was to leave.
He
Think
would
he
go
would
somewhere where he
and
would
where he
feel
would
he
still
would be able
start.
to.
Yeah. So that's why I wouldn't think he would just go take a backup role or even maybe would play the four,
Possibly.
possibly, but the spacing would be nasty on that aspect. It would be easy to defend Embiid in that case, especially in playoff time with both of them on the floor at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, before we move on, the initial thought of the season when of course when Harden was traded, did anybody think the Sixers was going to win the championship initially?
No.
Right?
And
That's
then
that's no disrespect.
right.
And all because once again, Embiid was on the MVP run. I even said why they can't be the Nuggets, right? So not to say that's during the season. That's during the season expectation based on seeing them play.
Right.
Now the fact that we seen them get injured and come back almost a week before the playoffs started, having to play in, like, what was your real expectations for this team? Like, I don't understand. I
Here's
get
the thing.
why were they
People
upset?
right. People tend to be prisoners of the moment and forget what they were thinking. Because again, it was like people might have thought that this was damn near up like when we were looking at the East preseason, that this could have been, a borderline play-in team healthy. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like I understand your expectations may change as this team plays, but if that was your expectation with the original roster that they went into the playoffs with, and then you think about what happened with Joel Embiid, you got to think this team overachieved in a sense, in my opinion,
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I get the frustration from
of
the
the fans.
the previous years of how
Oh,
they
okay.
lost and be like, but some of the over criticism was getting a little too out of hand for this season. But
Right.
that's just
And again, I think like I keep going back to it. Joel Embiid to me was unfairly criticized for the way he played. And I'm sorry, dog, bro. Bell's palsy and the
come
knee injury. You can't tell me like people want to talk about his toughness and all of that, because he's always injured. Hey, he was out there. Like you can't say he ain't got that dog in him. He was doing that hurt.
like,
But
yeah, man, like you said, oh man, it is what it is, man. So so speaking of him being hurt, we already alluded to Joel Embiid and Kawhi being hurt in the playoff. Why are they on the USA team?
yeah. The replacement should already have been called.
Easily.
Replacement replacements should have already been called and be like, hey, dog. You know what? They shouldn't even have to call the replacements in. Those two players should be like, hey, nah, dog, I'm sitting out.
First off, for me, I don't even want Anthony Davis playing. Like, I don't want AD playing at all. I get why Bron is playing. I don't want to play in either, but I get it. Same thing what you got with KD. They playing. We get it, dog. Steph
Yeah.
too.
You
We
know
get it.
me. Hey, sit your ass down.
But if I'm the Sixers organization, if I'm the Clippers, I'm like, hey, look, bro, you ain't playing, dog. Like, you not playing.
Yeah.
You not playing for the Olympics, bro. I'm
Because you
for
always because when we need you most, you already like
you
you
already
already
injured.
not available. So you about to go play more games? Absolutely not. Sit
Absolutely
your
not.
ass down. Sit
And,
your ass down.
and like I said, some of the Grant Hill, whoever was in the selection committee, they definitely should have saved Kawhi from himself.
Yeah.
You know, I get it when Embiid announced himself like he would play for the USA. It's like, bro, how we gonna pass? You know,
Exactly.
he picked the USA for a reason. Like I get it, but now it's
Yeah.
time to come on, dog. It's time to save these people for themselves, dog. Like, hey, look,
Yeah.
bro, hey, you gotta sit this one out, dog. You need to sit this one out. Kawhi,
Absolutely.
come on, bro. Like,
Yeah.
come on, why are you here? You don't need like him, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and like I said, and my bad. I felt that way initially with AD anyway. So if I can feel that way about AD, hey, I definitely can say that about Kawhi and Joel. Hey, look, bro, we need to find something to play
You
for.
know me. Hey, you don't play no more games than you absolutely have to.
Bro, they can easily swap Joel with Jaren Jackson and accomplish the same exact
The
goal.
same exact thing.
You know, come on, man.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Is it still too early to get my apology for that Rudy Gobert trade that I said was good to Minnesota?
Yeah, it's too early.
Okay, all right.
It's and only reason it's too early. I was prepared to show you some love too, because you know it's looking good now. It's looking good now. But last year we can't ignore last year.
Of course,
You know,
but
we can't ignore last year, and you know that's why I'm saying I'm wait till next year. Because at
okay,
this
all
point we tied up, bro.
right, 1-1. All right.
Hey, I ain't gonna hide from you.
I was just saying because you did kill me when I said that was gonna be like I like this trade.
Yeah, yeah. First
All
person
right,
shooter.
all right.
Yeah, look right there at you. So you was
Don't
stupid.
worry.
So you
It's
do was
like
stupid.
that, but I came back with like that.
Yeah, you did. And I came. Hey, I came back and pushed up. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hey, but
And
don't
then we
worry.
stopped. And then we stopped. and then we stopped.
Okay, okay.
And then
All
we
right,
stopped.
all right.
Because it's looking good right now. But they did matter of fact, because Cat got hurt twice. It's just different. They
Yeah,
had
it's
another.
different.
They had a whole another year in the system. They understand what they're supposed to be doing now. Like I said, even Ant said it after the season. He's like, "Look, I'm about to work with Rudy. We about to figure this out." And
Because remember that was my original premise where it was like, hey, if you are able to keep Rudy on the floor and have him be a defensive player, it can allow Cat to play that four like he wants to, because Cat don't want to be in the paint, and you needed that. And then to me, it was like, okay, now you bring in Rudy, and
the
we gave
sneaky,
we gave them the idea on how to be able to keep Rudy on the court, apparently. So, and
we
and
ran
to
we ran
we'll,
out of time,
yeah,
so we really
we'll
couldn't.
get to it. We'll get to it, and by that time, we might even kind of have some things about this series, figured out. So we'll be able to talk about it.
But what we've always learned we've known all our lives that matchups are important in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
And this team matches up very well with the Nuggets.
Yep.
Shouts out to the WNBA. They had a little hiccup. First off, they showed, Caitlin,
Yeah.
her debut was definitely, televised, and she definitely debuted. You know what I'm saying? She did her thing. They didn't televise Angel Reese's debut. Somebody had to stream it. Shouts out to A.E. Lewis in the group. He provided this information for us. So I'm going off the fly with it. Somebody had to stream, a fan had to stream it, and that stream blew up. And they realized, hey, we made a mistake. Boom, the next game was televised. They did their thing. So now they, like I say, they're putting more emphasis on their stars or what they're trying to do. They're trying to cash in on this love that they got right now, this wave that they got right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Media day was lit. They showcasing a lot of their players. They doing their thing, and now they got flights. All the flights is charted now. So finally, some of the minimal things that we were asking for the WNBA, they're starting to get it. So hopefully, this wave that they got going on, that they ride, whoever is responsible for this, I'm glad it's here, and I hope it continues to get better. And
Yep.
ain't got a flash spirit no more. Needs the chest on that, man.
Hey,
That string did numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And
That-
to me, that's what showed their ass like, okay, we're sorry. Because again, I think what did I say? Don't just get caught up in this one star. Build the brands, build multiple brands. That way you can always have a little bit of something going on. You're not just drawing eyes to one team. You have the opportunity to do this. And I think this is their time to really kind of capitalize on it. And I think that they saw that they missed the boat and then they was like, you know what? Oh,
Don't worry about it.
because again, it's the same thing that people have been saying, from the women's tournament. It's like, yeah, Caitlin Clark is the name, but it wasn't just they were watching for Caitlin Clark. They were watching for that rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. They were watching because South Carolina was undefeated. It wasn't just this singular person. And so capitalize on that because you got a lot of these players that came in. Cameron Brink, you got Cameron Brink, and with the Sparks, she out there balling.
Yeah.
Make sure you kind of do those things. But at the end of the day, I think the Aces gonna smoke this and still win this championship.
I mean, she's still out there.
Yeah, the Aces is they
still there.
They got that one.
Yeah,
they got that one.
They still got it. You know what I'm saying. And the thing about it, I think that's one of the beauties of making a mistake. They made a mistake and they immediately righted their wrong.
Absolutely.
And I think that was a good mistake. I think it was one of those things that be like, hey, look, this is what we're supposed to be doing. All right, say no more. And let's implement it and let's do our thing. So, like, we got it once again. It was still a preseason game. Let's,
right. But one of the things that people were saying, like I was seeing people say, they're like, oh, how can, like, what do you guys expect them to do? They have TV contracts and they can't just, switch the game. Yeah, the fuck you can. Because guess what? Because I guarantee you what that TV provider would really like had they actually got those 2.1 million views.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is just bring them that. And they'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, we can change that. We can make that work.
Remember they was
money talk.
Remember they were changing the game for Aaron Judge for the record?
Yeah.
A regular record?
Exactly. Like I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Put that money on the table. They not gonna say no.
Yeah. Man, this was a good one, man. I want to appreciate everybody that caught us live. I want to appreciate everybody that's gonna catch us on the playback. I want to appreciate everybody that's continues to support us and what we got going on and understanding the mission part of the people and what we continue got going on. So I want to shout out to everybody that supports us. Like I said, it's definitely not underappreciated. We definitely truly appreciate everything that you guys do for us, that we try to provide for y'all, and we try to do everything together. We are a community. We are our own community, and I want to appreciate everybody that continues to be a part of this community. Like you say, sometimes you ain't got to agree. You ain't got to. All we got to do is respect, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Shout out to the Fab Five. The Fab Five is out.
Shout out to the Fab Five holding it down. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Rakia Jimmy King. You got Ro Jackson. You got FBO Rose. You know what I'm saying? We got a ball. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate y'all. And hey, hit that thumbs up button. Right there. I ain't even gotta tell y'all, man. I know y'all subscribed and everything, man. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta let them know they not like us. Freaky ass nigga is 69 God.